Okay, hello and welcome to City Heroes Video Tours. We're here today to discuss the City Badge Tracker that they added a little while back. It's a nifty little tool. You can use it to see the top 100 badgers that are loaded into it, and you can also see your progress on your character if it's loaded into there. And you can also see your character's progress on two badges, Dimensional Warder and River Rat. Clicking the button is supposed to open it up, and if you have enough badges to qualify, depending on who's up there already, you just might get your little hologram statue. Right now, I am attempting to click the thing, but it's not opening. It has reached its limit and it has deactivated. Now, we're really going to be talking about that limit now. Some people seem to think that certain other people are causing the tracker to overload and shut down. No, sorry, it doesn't quite work that way. This thing has a finite amount of entries it can take before it will shut off. The good news is that it's a rather high limit, and it's only shutting off now basically on Excelsior because it is the biggest, the most populated server in Homecoming. Okay? The other servers don't quite have enough activity to really hit the limit, at least not at this time. That can always change. Such as when spring events running, or the Halloween events running, or the winter events running, Pocket D activity tends to increase greatly. And leaderboard badge tracker here could very easily reach its limit on any server shard during those times and switch off. How does that work? Real simple. Clicking the button on the control is not, repeat, not what puts you into the tracker. Entering Pocket D is what puts you on the tracker. Whether it's whether you're using the entrance in Atlas or Talos or any of the other zones that has an entrance, as soon as you zone into that little hallway that leads to the elevator that leads to the main dance floor, once you're in that hallway, you're in Pocket D, you're loaded into the tracker. That's how it works. Or if you enter from your base through the base portal to the main dance area, or just teleport in the Pocket D through your long-range teleport, then you're in Pocket D. That is how it works. Clicking the button just opens it up for you to view the top 100 players that are currently in there, and maybe view your character's progress on Dimensional Warder and River Rat if you still need those badges on it, as well as how many badges your character has obtained, etc. Okay. Now, clicking the button will also give you your little hologram statue, but that depends how many badges you got, and on whoever's got their statue up there right now. And yes, players like myself, who tend to have all the badges on our characters, tend to load ourselves into the tracker. Guess what? There's no rule that says any of us cannot do that. Yeah. So we're going to now broach a little different topic here. Of late, I've been receiving some interesting messages in in-game messaging and in the in-game email system. I'm using the term interesting in a euphemistic manner. You can probably guess what I'm really talking about. Now, some of the messages are humorous, you know, they're little jokes and things like that. And some people are asking me if I'm ever going to go beyond 25 characters with all the badges. That would be a bit of a project if I were to do that. It takes a minimum of 1 year to load a character with all the badges. During that year, of course, you can process multiple characters at once. That's, you know, how you do it. But it takes a minimum of 1 year. Why? Spring event, the May anniversary event, Halloween event, which has 35 badges and 2 bonus accolades for a total of 37 last I counted. The winter event, which tends to have a login badge that you get when you sign in during that month. Plus, if they add anything new to it, which kind of hoping they don't, but that's just a personal viewpoint on my part. I've always viewed the winter event as working just fine. If they want to streamline the code and how it operates for, like, say, the Lord Winter League event, that's one thing. But if they really want to add new badges to the winter event, just give Father Time a 3rd mission, and all is well. Halloween event, like I said, 35 badges and 2 bonus accolades. I don't think we need anything else. The last new thing they added were those elite bosses, where you can badge up and get prisms for getting them. Honestly speaking, I don't see any grand need to expand the Halloween event any more than it already has been, but that's my own personal view. Anniversary event in May. There's always the new login badge for anniversary time that you get when your character signs into the game. And of course, Luna up in Oro sells the previous badges for the anniversaries. Which, by the way, nowadays you better have about 2,200 reward merits if you're looking for all the anniversary badges, because there's just that many. And then Spring Event, they had that new content this past year, which was actually quite fun. And a great way to get Hero Slayer and Villain Disruptor badges. During those events, Pocket D activity always increases. Except maybe the May anniversary one, because that's basically an Ouroboros to get the anniversary badges. But the main thing is this, during springtime especially, and during winter and Halloween, Pocket D activity tends to spike rather considerably. And that means the city badge tracker is going to fill up real quick on Excelsior for sure, and probably Everlasting and Torchbearer as well would be at risk of this thing loading up and shutting down. It is a finite amount of entries that it can hold. Once you enter Pocket D, one time per character, that character is loaded into the tracker for the duration. That's how it works. Zoning the same character in and out doesn't change. It's loaded once into the tracker. That's it. That's how it works. So if you want to bring all your alts into Pocket D, well, you're sure welcome to do that. There is absolutely no rule that says you can't. It's clicking the button that opens it up when it's working, and maybe gives you your statue. Now, there was one person the other week. Unfortunately, this person, we're just going to identify them as Troll. I will not call them out by their name. They were, I think, operating, what was it, a Chaldean? Yeah, I think so. Either Peacebringer or Warshade. I'd have to check my note files, but anyway, that's not important. Again, I'm not going to directly out said person. But this is a person who had a vet level of over 1,000 on their character. Like, okay, that's always nice to see. And yet they only had about 700-ish badges. And they were whining and crying how they couldn't have a statue up there because I and others with greater amount of badges were basically hogging the leaderboard. And of course their ire was directed at me, because all 25 of my characters were loaded into the tracker, as is my full right to do so. And I said, you know, you could always transfer, copy your character to beta server, get your statue there, have your screenshot, and have fun. Or transfer to one of the other shards with lower populations, like maybe Victory. Get your statue there, take your screenshot, have fun with it, and then come on back to Excelsior. Needless to say, they were more intent on being a whiner about it than anything else, to the point of basically threatening to get me in all sorts of trouble, blah 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 blah. In other words, the usual rhetoric. But when rhetoric is taken to that level, well, that means that something may or may not have had to have happened. I still see the person playing, so if anything did happen to them, I have absolutely no idea. But they haven't bothered me since, so go figure. Can't imagine why. And I do receive some colorful messages in my email and from private message from people at times, yes, and also through Discord. Okay. So this is where I guess I'm going to have to stand on a soapbox rather than that pedestal at the moment. I'm thinking that a lot of you are in dire need of remembering about the rules of conduct. These rules are basically the same as they were on Live, as they are in Homecoming. And every time you're signing in and clicking agree to that licensing agreement, the rules of conduct are in there, folks. You may want to go down, the next time you have your game open for login, you might want to scroll down and go down to Section 3. And then read all the subsections in there, because that's where the rules of behavior that are expected and desired are outlined. Like no griefing, no harassment, no sabotage, no hacking, no exploitation, you know, the little things like that. Oh, we have a guest star here. Oh, how about that? But anyway. And it's such messages, you know, from some folks, could be construed as a breach of said rules. That's not playing very nice now, is it? and that I and others who receive such messages are well within our prerogative to have corrective action requested by the GMs. Now, nobody in their right mind should really want that. Oh wait, no, you can actually buff the statue with a force field. Okay, never saw that before. Anyway, yeah. So you know what, let's all just take a chill and relax about the badge tracker. You know what this badge tracker really is, in my own personal opinion? It's a high scoreboard list like you'd find on the arcade games of yesteryear and now. Get the high score, tap your initials in. This tracker board is fundamentally the same principle. Just enter Pocket D, you're in the tracker. If you qualify to be in the top 100, great. But don't forget, folks, there's always a bigger fish. I mean, you may have a character with 1,000+ badges and get into the top 100 for a little bit and have your statue. Hey, great. First of all, congratulations. You earned it. But you have no business complaining when someone else comes along, clicks the button, and then their statue comes up in place of yours. That's no different than on an arcade game when you beat someone else's high score and become the top player, or at least get above them in rank in the top 10 or whatever. That's all this thing is. It's just a high score tracker, like in an arcade game. At least that's how I view it. Some people clearly have a little bit of a different view about it, and they're twisting themselves into knots because people who have all the badges are allegedly hogging the board. Okay, that's a load of garbage. Every player has the right to enter Pocket D or any other zone in this game at any time. There's no rule anywhere that says that we can't. Trying to claim there is such a rule, well, unless you're a homecoming representative, you really can't make that claim, because that kind of a claim can get you in a little bit of trouble. So don't do that. Just let it be, just relax. This is a 21+ year old video game. Okay? George Alpha Mary Echo game. This is not IRL. This is not the Matrix, be it the Autobot Matrix or the Keanu Reeves Matrix. This is not Ready Player One and the Oasis. This is just a very fun, classic MMO, which happens to be the first and still best superhero-themed MMO that's ever been created. So relax. Have some fun. Don't get twisted into a knot or a pretzel about this badge tracker. Is it really worth stressing yourself out like that? Play the game, have some fun, comply with the rules, and everyone can be very happy. It's real simple. And none of this is threats, this is just advice. I'm just giving out some free happy advice here, that's all. As to the haters, well, I guess haters just gotta hate, but if you really want to hate that bad, well, hey, I guess that's your prerogative. But seriously, folks, lighten up. I mean, there are people that like doing the 4-star content and nothing but. Okay, swell. Go ahead and do that. There are people that like running the labyrinth day after day after day. That's fine too. Feel free. There are badges and some other miscellaneous prizes to get in the labyrinth. I prefer just getting all the badges. The Minotaur pet and the Gladiator pet for defeating the Minotaur, each 5 versions of it, and 1,000 gladiators. I'll take a pass on that. But that doesn't really interest me. None of my 25 have the Minotaur pet or the Gladiator pet, and they're not really seeking it. Those vanity prizes and vanity pets don't add anything to the character. They don't give you a power boost. They don't give you an accolade boost. They're just little prizes like you get at a carnival or a circus. Yay. What else here? Or let's see. Some people like doing the MSR every day. Okay, swell. Go right ahead. Go blast the alien Ricky all you want. Go right ahead. If that's your jam, that's your jam. Some people like to roleplay. Go ahead and roleplay. Some people like to farm, be it in the AE of Pocket D or anywhere else. Go ahead and farm. Go right ahead. And some people like to collect the badges on one or more characters. Go ahead. None of that is breaking any of the rules of conduct. That's all just standard gameplay. Diversity is a beautiful thing. And this game definitely has a lot of diversity to it. So relax, everyone. Take a chill. This badge tracker is just a harmless little tool and a high score tracker like you'd find in the old arcade games. So let it be. Now stand by for a moment. Okay, and we are back. Sorry for that little pause there. I am now on one of the other servers with one of my badges that I have temporarily renamed. This is Everlasting, one of the other populated servers in the game, but it's not so populated that the leaderboard is going to switch off. By entering Pocket D, I have already put myself into the tracker, but I haven't clicked the magic button yet. Okay? So I'm about to click the button now because this tracker is still working. See? That person up there had all the badges, by the way. If you have equal or greater amount of badges, you will qualify and replace their statue with yours. And I'm currently ranked number 1 out of 7,001 entries on the tracker on Everlasting at this moment. As you can see, this tracker is still working. So let's take a look at the leaderboard. Hey, look at that. Not a lot of people have all the badges, apparently, or they're just staying on a Pocket D. Either or. Doesn't particularly matter. And then you can look at your character data here, see what they are, da-da-da-da-da-da. And you can look at all the badge categories and see how many you've gathered and all, which in this case adds up to all the badges. 1659 is the current max. But this is how it works. And if I click the button again, it'll refresh. Okay, for some reason, if you click the button again, it can drop your rank down, even though your statue is still there. Doesn't make a lot of sense how it does that, but go fig. But if someone else had entered Pocket, either character, this number would have changed. As you can see, this is a high number, and the tracker is still working. Like I said, the limit is roughly 10,000 before it closes down. Okay? That's just how it works, folks. I've shown you how the leaderboard works. Just entering Pocket D is enough to put you into the tracker, whether it's from the street entrances or warping into Pocket D, whichever. So, now you know how it works, and that it holds a finite amount of how many you can have in there. Okay? So relax. This leaderboard is not worth getting all twisted and upset about. It really is not. Just let it be. It's a tool. So let it be. Twisting yourself into knots over this thing is really not going to do anyone any favors. In any event, this is the tracker video, along with some commentary. Hope you've enjoyed. Hopefully it was informative to you. And as always, feel free to turn your computer off and go outside and play. Because this is only a game. It's not reality. And as I've stated, it's not the Matrix, be it the Autobot or the Keanu Reeves Matrix. It's not the Ready Player One Oasis. It's just a 21-and-a-half-year-old MMORPG that was revived after 7 years of shutdown darkness. And here we are, also to play the game and have some fun. So go have some fun. I'll see you on the next vid.